edition of Celtics Roundtable here on the Boston Celtics news feed. Matt Ignal here alongside Sam Sheehan, Lucky's Pipe, and my brother Jonathan, coming to you on this Monday. We're going to do a Monday Mailbag here. But instead of taking your questions, we're just kind of going to make up our own. So Celtics right now stand 33-10 after an ugly win against Brooklyn. They're on a 6-game win streak. Who wants this one? What are the Celtics? Why are the Celtics winning right now, you guys?
They're not playing 700 games in 4 days. They don't have to get off of a bus, immediately walk to the gym, and I don't know. The December schedule was so insane, and I'm not gonna, I think it's a little bit disingenuous to sit here and pretend that the Celtics are not getting at least a little bit lucky. Their point differential is probably not where a team on 60 win pace should be. But at the same time, they had an absolutely brutal December. And, this is a team that is, resting a lot of its guys. Kyrie, if you look at minutes played for a lot of stars, Kyrie is way down there. I think, by virtue of getting the win, I think they made the right decision retroactively to rest Al Horford in that Brooklyn game, because now, this is what the Celtics are doing. And this is how you benefit from Brad Stevens playing a legitimate 12-man rotation is, you have all these guys who need minutes, and you get to get them in there and get these, wins. So as long as they keep winning, I think it's fine. And I think that this is, I think just with the schedule settling down, I think the Celtics can kind of get back to business a little bit and, bank a couple more wins.
Yeah. It's 98 points they held Houston to, then 105 for Brooklyn, 88 for Cleveland, 84 for Minnesota, 85 against Brooklyn. They are now first in the league by a mile in defensive rating at 101.9. And to me, that's where I see it more. The offense hasn't really been clicking recently, but the defense has sort of returned to the levels that we saw earlier in the season. And, I think at this point, to the best of our knowledge, we can attribute that to rest.
Yeah, and also depth has been huge for this win streak. Earlier in the season, anytime the bench came in the second quarter, they'd blow the lead and get down big, and Kyrie would have to will them back, and Jayson Tatum. But just having Terry Rozier playing the basketball that he is, and Marcus Smart finally hitting some shots just opens up everything. And Daniel Tice, nice addition this year.
Yeah, get some shots now, too. Yeah, it's 2 days rest, they're a +10 net rating. 1 day rest, they're a +6, and that's where they're pretty close to, because 70% of the games are 1 days of rest, and when they don't have any rest, back-to-backs, they're not actually doing very good. But we pulled one out against Brooklyn. I know Brooklyn's not the best team, but they play tough because they make good shots. So I'm actually happy to get that. I was thinking if the Raptors lost, I was maybe they should just throw the Nets game because Nets pick Cleveland. But
petty.
Raptors are killing it right now, so they don't have any time to lose.
Shout out to OG and Anunoby. I wish that there was a good nickname.
He's really good,
for him. But what are you going to do with OG, right? There's no good nickname there. But I'll think of something later.
All right. So Jayson Tatum, big hero against Brooklyn. I think he scored the last 5 points for the Boston Celtics. Huge dunk, then a huge three. For some reason, Kyrie Irving shot up a contested floater instead of passing out to Tatum for the final Celtics possession. But we won't hold it against him. Jayson Tatum, we're going to just go around. What are we most surprised about with Jayson Tatum? What have we seen about him recently? What's your favorite thing that he does? Just wax poetic on Jayson Tatum, Sam Sheehan.
My favorite thing is I love that off the court, Jayson Tatum is a polite sweetie who just is always oh wow, I love everything, he's like Giannis was his when he was going off about the smoothies during his rookie year. But Jayson Tatum has slowly over the season, he's getting meaner and meaner on the court. He's trying to literally end guys' careers. I think Karl Anthony Towns is literally dead. I have not seen Karl Anthony Towns since Jayson Tatum put him on a poster. And it's just the swagger levels have really shot up. And I think that, there's a strong chance that we might see Jayson Tatum just straight up screaming at Kevin Love in 2 years, which I'm really excited for that evolution of just him to just turn into a Russell Westbrook type of just absolute insane madman. I think would be incredible. And I would love that.
He's even dunking on his own team. Aaron Baines got posterized against
Nobody took down all of Australia.
Yeah.
That's how you keep people on your toes.
Giannis won, and Jayson Tatum, too, have posterized Baines.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Tatum got stopped by the rim like twice, and but the rest of them, he's like doing one or two like impressively ridiculous dunks every game, and I did not see that at all coming. I like his shot selection overall, though. His 3-pointers, the fact that it's most of his game right now.
The fact that it's literally the opposite of his college, like shot selection, like the absolute inverse. Sarcastic college season. Yeah, the sarcastic college season, baby. You can't underestimate it.
I mean, that's just a testament to how hard he's worked and like his ridiculous rate of improvement, over the last, 6 months? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Although he started to really show it at the end of his career at Duke. Jonathan, favorite thing about Jayson Tatum?
Yeah, I think, I'm just so happy he didn't hit the rookie wall the last 3 weeks. And that's just due to, when the shot's not falling, he's wanted to attack the rim. And that first step, I never saw him having a first step that looks elite. I mean, he's burning defenders on the catch and driving right by him. And also his hezzy is great. Like, he's crossing up really good defenders and putting them on his hip and taking them right to the rim. I did not know that was in his repertoire, and I'm so glad that we're not watching Josh Jackson hoist threes. And
and not to mention, he basically didn't have a Euro step in summer league, and now it's probably one of the 15 or 20 best Euro steps in the entire NBA. That might be selling it a little bit short.
Not
distance,
not actual travel, but
yeah.
Sky's the limit, for this guy as a scorer, and not to mention, he's able to do crazy things with his wrists and elbows and shoulder, looks like it pops out of his socket. So he's able to make these ridiculous defenses. He's got a 6'11", 7-foot wingspan, but it's effectively 7'3" with the way he can contort his arms, and not to mention his sense of timing. I mean, I'm just so overjoyed that the Celtics
and he still might be growing. He's not years old.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It seems like he's bigger. It seems like he has grown while he's been in the league. He really is I know I'm gonna get roasted for this because this is an over there, but he really does remind me of Giannis, and a lot of ways, just in that he's always bigger than you think he is. Obviously, he's nowhere near as hyperbolic as Giannis is, where he's just extremely everything, long and all those things. But he's more athletic, he's more long, he's taller, he's bigger than you think he is, and how he plays, and and that's kind of the scouting report coming back on people who see Jayson Tatum live. It's he's tall. And it's going to be great in 2023 or whenever, when the Celtics are going to play him for 10 minutes at a time at center. That's going to happen. And continue to draft first. Yeah.
He slid in a power forward so good as a 19-year-old, which is unheard of. But he also has the ability to come out and block Jimmy Butler in game-winning shots, which is pretty wild. My thing is did any of you see, and should we make? I know the clutch gene is a bit of a farce, but he's knocked down at the end of games, and it's becoming a thing, and he's also the youngest player on the team. So I'm just where does it go?
I think Brad Stevens had said it best, basically saying he's unafraid of the moment. I don't know if you're more likely to knock down shots, if there's anyone who's more likely to knock down shots in the last couple of minutes, but maybe it takes him a little bit longer to get into a rhythm, really find his way out there. He does seem to be more comfortable, I guess, as the game goes on, but hey, on the sample size we have right now, I mean, he's just not afraid, and I think that's most of it right there. All right, I got one thing I don't like. I don't like the underhand scoop shot. I know he can do it. Every time I see him do it, it just feels it's a little bit soft, I want to say. He can get it, by some guys, but almost every time I just kind of want to see him go right to the rim.
But now we're nitpicking on a shot where we know he can do it. He does it well. And you're just digging for,
it's also unblockable.
Yeah. It did get blocked. Jimmy Butler blocked him.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler is an extremely sexual, cool being. So that's he's literally the only person in the league who can do that. I don't know. It seems unblockable, because no one has the length to go with him. That's what I think of that as his bag of tricks, isolation one that's like always going to work. Because there's nothing you can do about it unless you're the help defender. Like you need to have two people to appropriately guard that. One person has no chance. It's like his hook shot.
Didn't Kevin Love get him on a drive?
What's that?
I think Kevin Love blocked him on one of those in the Cleveland game.
Did he? I don't know. I've never seen it blocked, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
My thing is like we saw like Kyrie is the type of guy to like try more difficult finishing moves just to see if he can do it, and it's kind of he's learning from like that's his guy. So like I can't fault Tatum for like getting started on it now.
Yeah, I don't fault Marcus Smart for hoisting threes. You know, you got to hit the difficult ones. Nothing like a step back Marcus after go 1 for 5 beforehand.
How funny would it be if it just turned out that Marcus Smart was just like literally he was actually just a wet like Kyle Korver 3-point shooter, but was just making his own shots as like difficult as possible, and just turned it on like halfway through his career. That seems like
hey, when they don't need a bucket, he doesn't make them, but when they do, he's money.
That's a conspiracy theory now. Is Marcus Smart can shoot, but he's just messing around. He's making it harder on himself.
Only Celtics fans would think that though.
He looks a little bouncier the last couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he's...
No, like, I mean, maybe it's not bounce. Maybe it's 2-footed hop. But, no, his handle's been tight, and he's been able to get where he wants to go on the basketball court within the lane. I mean, I don't know if, Marcus Smart will do this to you, where, like, anytime there's a snowstorm, Marcus Smart's locked in. But he looks quicker. I don't know, skinny Marcus, maybe it's paying off.
I think it's rested Marcus, like, maybe.
I think
it's a good time to rest because they don't have a tough game until January 27th at Golden State.
Honestly, I think part of it is practice because Marcus Smart has always seen the game very well. Like he's a very good point guard. He does have like good reads. Yeah. Well, I just think that like I think part of it is the younger players. It's a young team and new players figuring out Marcus Smart as they get to practice with him and where they can get to get these to help out the offense as much as possible when Marcus is playing with him. I think that's a direct result of practice time almost, the success that the Marcus Smart offenses are now having.
Yeah, I mean, his best offensive skill is probably hitting that roll man, right? Either with the alley-oop or, the little pocket bounce pass that he's able to do. And
I'll take the offensive rebound and clutch.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. That too. But, it's a way that if that path is open, if that lane is open, it's it's almost guaranteed 2 points there. So it's a really good tool to have. Maybe one of these days, hopefully soon, his 3-point shooting will jump up to that like 35% or so that we're all crossing our fingers for, and then it's like okay, then I feel like comfortable like playing this guy big time minutes on a championship level team.
I don't know. You look at lineups, he's in like 2-man lineups, 3-man lineups, like all the ones at the top. Even if you like separate like minutes and like kick those out, he's in, I'd say like 70% at least of like everybody plays better when he's on the court. Yeah,
it's Smart and Horford are the two that like seem to make everyone better. So even Kyrie takes some lumps, but that's understandable given that he's just out there, feeling the energy of the crystals and just going through the motions.
All right, well let's keep this going with this energy. We're gonna be talking about feeling the heat, Action Heat, best heated clothing. That's right, heatable clothing powered by rechargeable batteries, delivering energy to you and your phone because it can do that. The worst is over, people, with this cold, or at least for now. Maybe that polar vortex will rear its head again. But if so, and even if not, because it's still pretty cold this winter, you're going to want Action Heat. We got a special deal just for our audience here. You get 15% off the entire order when you go to action-heat.com/Celtics or use the coupon code Celtics. Stay toasty and warm with all sorts of clothing, hats, socks, long johns, whatever. While you enjoy all of your outdoor activities, just use Action Heat. Go to action-heat.com/Celtics or use the coupon code Celtics for 15% off your order. Okay. Where do we want to go next? What are you guys feeling? Lonzo Ball, NBA draft?
Lonzo Ball.
Let's
go to LeVar.
Yeah, just continue with the rookie watch.
Rookie watch. Okay, everyone knows Donovan Mitchell's awesome.
Good player.
Ben Simmons is polarizing, but he's also awesome. Kyle Kuzma, I think we talked about this a little before the pod, maybe a little smoke and mirrors, and then there's Lonzo, who looking like the circumstances surrounding him might be a little bit of a distraction. All right. So
Ball in the family.
I think the Celtics have to feel good, at least, that they did not draft Lonzo Ball and took Jayson Tatum. I think we could all safely say that. And maybe the circus that LeVar Ball would have brought may have been a distraction, regardless. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine anyone criticizing Brad Stevens, but if there's anyone to do it, it would be LeVar Ball.
Yeah, I mean,
why don't we start on the court though? Like, Matt, I was interested to hear what your court analysis of Lonzo has been, because he was your favorite draft pick. I didn't see Tatum, but I didn't see this with Lonzo either. I thought he'd be better.
Yeah, he's not scoring the ball well. I mean, so far this year. I mean, it's ticked up a little bit, but like, he's not scoring at the rim. He's not scoring well from the 3-point line. His stats are like good everywhere else, and apparently he's playing good defense. I at least thought he'd be able to hit open threes, right? He shot 43% at UCLA, but he hasn't been hitting those up until recently. So I'm still pretty high on him overall, but I think the chances of him like becoming an actual star in this league are pretty slim at this point.
Yeah.
Anyone disagree?
I mean, if you can't get to the rim and score or hit a three, I don't know how you can be a star in this NBA surrounded by like 20 great point guards.
Yeah. I think he can still be a really good role player, but that 3-point shot's got to come around at some point.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad LeVar is not attached to the Celtics organization. Like, can't you see a scenario where Marcus Smart comes in at the end of the game for Lonzo and the Celtics end up losing? And I don't know, LeVar talks about how Brad's too young and has lost the locker room. Like, I thought this before the draft. Like, LeVar is just going to be a problem, and the city of Boston would not respond well to him. Actually, my biggest takeaway of the whole thing is that Jeff Goodman has an agenda and is secretly working for the Celtics. He's constantly like gushing about Tatum more than any other reporter. Everybody loves Tatum, but like Jeff Goodman was the one who's like, he's going to be better than Paul Pierce, this and that, very early on, like extremely early on, too early. And now he's doing everything he can to sabotage the Lakers by interviewing Lithuania's favorite father and just like doing everything he can to ensure the Celtics get that pick. So I've never been like the biggest Goodman guy, but he's on my good side in 2018.
Doing his part, man. They're trying to get Ayton or Bamba.
Representing the network well.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to have Cole Zwicker on this podcast on Tuesday night. Wednesday, you all will hear that. We're going to be talking some NBA draft. 2 through 5, it's looking like a real possibility right now. The Lakers have the second worst record in the league. They're in a bit of a tailspin right now. There's a lot of bad teams out there, and they're all separated by a couple of games, but it's looking pretty decent right now that the Celtics will, that pick will convey. Go ahead.
Do we actually believe this? I mean, the Lakers have literally no incentive to tank, while everyone else at that bottom will be tanking. Like, they're going to need a significant margin.
I mean, if he lost the locker room, who are we to say?
I feel like yes, but also when you walk through who those coaches are at the bottom, it's not the usual suspects of tanking. Like, besides the Suns, who will do everything in their power, like they will literally like have Devin Booker's passport taken away, so like he gets detained by customs or something in order to tank his games. But run through everyone else in the West. That is Dallas. Rick Carlisle will not tank under any circumstances, I don't think. You go over to the Hawks. They have I think he lost his GM powers, but Coach Bud is like one of those guys who's got some juice with the front office. Like, he's a little bit empowered. I think he doesn't really want to tank. And we just have the Nets also have no incentive to tank. The Kings have every incentive to tank, but because they're the Kings, are not going to tank. So I just don't see that. Like, I don't know. I think that this is for real, just because I don't think like the Lakers are talented, but they're also young and they play in the West, and the West is just a bloodbath. There's too many good teams. It's not like the East where you can catch. And the third best team in the East is the Raptors, and then the fourth is the Bucks, Wizards. Like, any bad team could beat the Bucks or the Wizards. I'm not trying to knock them, but I mean, you got a better shot of beating the Wizards or the Bucks than you do of beating a Thunder or Spurs.
Well, the Wizards lose to every sub 500 team, it seems. That's an interesting take, Sam. I like it. It makes me feel good. I'm willing.
But boy, are they the perfect matchup for the Cavs.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
They deserve it.
Yeah, man. I by the way, shout out to Kenny Atkinson. I think with City of Boston, like they might make the playoffs. Like I said I was bearish on the 2018 pick, like back in 2016, and I felt bad about it when Jeremy Lin went down, but now like, man, dude, Danny Ainge was right to get rid of that pick. I think he saw what was cooking in Brooklyn, and you imagine if they had
Dinwiddie season.
Jeremy Lin. Can you imagine if they had Jeremy Lin like right now? Like they
I mean,
might be
don't forget about D'Lo.
How much worse though is Spencer Dinwiddie than Jeremy Lin?
You could have them both.
A little bit. You could play, as I'm saying. I guess you could. He's substantially. He's substantially better than Joe Harris. Let me put
is D'Angelo even back yet? I know he was out for a while.
Yeah, D'Angelo's still not playing. Like this is a team that I don't know. This is a team that like I feel like is going to be good. They remind me a lot of those young Celtics teams from like 13-14, like where they're playing. They clearly have the system installed. They know what they're doing. They're playing hard night to night. They're not going to win the games because they don't have the talent. But man, I don't want any part of Brooklyn. Like I don't want to take any unders for Brooklyn going forward the next 4 years. They're going to get somebody with their cap space in the next 2 years, and it's going to be, they're going to be a hard out for a long time.
Let's keep talking about Brooklyn. Just kidding. Let's talk about the NBA draft.
It's okay.
Sorry, Sam.
No, I love Brooklyn. I live here. Come on. Be nice
Brooklyn till I die.
All right. Who do you guys like? Who are you feeling good about?
I think it's definitely going to – I mean, this is a little bit of a Captain Obvious thing. I think it's definitely going to depend on how the board breaks. Yeah. The Celtics are going to get the pick, if it's 2 through 5. That's probably a pretty good place to be picking, to be honest, in this draft because, I think with any of those, maybe consensus top 5 type of guys, if you're leaving Trae Young out of it, Bamba, Ayton, or Bagley, and then, Doncic or Porter, I think if you get any of those 5 guys in this draft, if you basically got Jayson Tatum and whichever of those guys, like that's a haul, man. 8 years of young studs, like for Markelle Fultz.
Thanks, Philly.
Man, I gotta buy Danny a fruit basket, man, because I hated that trade, and turns out Danny Ainge is better at his job than I would be. So, who knew? So everyone's
and thank you for Trae Young to do this. Like keep putting up 30 and 20s. Like that's awesome. Like if he went 1, that would be great. Like then it's guaranteed. There's 4 bigs between
honestly,
2 and 5.
If the Celtics draft, I'll be like more power to you. Like
yeah,
like you want to go all in on offense. And you think this dude is like Steph Curry light? Like why the hell not? All right, we're gonna. Like I said,
probably not a great idea in Kyrie's contract year, but other than that, that would be my only problem. If you waited a year later, if you did it in 2018, I think it's probably a little better idea. Otherwise, you end up with a report about Stevens, Wick, and Kyrie, or whatever the parallel would be to that Patriots report.
All right, let's wrap things up here. Cole Zwicker's going to help us sort out this NBA draft talk. That'll be coming to you on Wednesday. The Celtics, and once again, we want to thank Philadelphia for gifting us Jayson Tatum and another high lottery pick. Celtics will take on the Sixers Thursday in London at 3 o'clock. But we'll talk to you before then. But
cheerio.
I want to thank you all for tuning in. That was Sam Sheehan, Jonathan Ignal, Lucky's Pipe, myself, Matt Ignal. We'll see you next time here on Celtics Roundtable. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable. Like and subscribe this video. Subscribe to CLNS Media. And you can always download the CLNS Media mobile app or search in your favorite podcast app for the Boston Celtics newsfeed. Find all of our episodes there. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on Wednesday.